Train Talk.
Train Talk. Yeah, earlier we touched on some CaveClan lingo such as Japes, etc. Jape being the noun, Japes being the adjective. There's also other CaveClan expressions that we used in the past, such as nobbish behaviour. Do you remember nobbish behaviour?
I remember nobbish behaviour very well.
There's a fine line between Japes and nobbish behaviour. So, could you give me some examples of Japes, such as, letting the chickens loose in crossways? That's Japes. And nobbish behaviour, well, there's plenty of examples of CaveClan members engaging in both Japes and nobbish behaviour over the years. Can you maybe give me some examples of both Japes and nobbish behaviour, and let me know like why this is Japes and why that's nobbish behaviour? It's a fine line.
It is, and I was about to say, it's a tough one because I think whether it's Japes or whether it's nobbish behaviour is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes, I was going to get to that later, but continue, please.
Probably a good example is Sydney Clan. The guys in Sydney were much more, a lot more like uni students and professional people, and not, didn't spend all their weekends drinking and having fun like that. They would see a lot of our Japes as nobbish behaviour. I remember it was Japes how we used to go to the Cricketers' Arms, and even though we'd go there because it was half price drinks for, I think it was like 2 hours, they had a 2-hour happy hour.
Yeah, we'd smuggle slabs in. Yeah,
And
okay.
I'm sure if you worked at the Cricketers' Arms, you'd think that was nobbish behaviour, but to us it was Japes. I guess a lot of Japes is laughing at other people's misfortunes. Like if someone falls over in a drain, slips over in a drain, decent people would be like, "Oh, you all right, mate?" Whereas we just piss ourselves laughing. When the movie Chopper came out, we met at the pub. I think it was the Carlton Hotel, which is across the road from the cinema.
On the second floor?
Yes, on the second floor. And we had, which is like
a really shitty pub, by the way.
It's like a nightclub now.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah, there's like 4 doormen on it and yeah, whatever. But you can go up onto the roof, which is good. But
they have a roof now. Okay.
Yeah, you can go all the way up to the roof. Anyway, I think we just met there because it was across the road, and we sort of got a bit drunk.
We met there because it was cheap beer, basically.
On this night, the reason we went there was because it was literally 20 metres from the cinema, which played a big part in things. I think we met there like an hour before, but in that hour we sort of threw back quite a few drinks. There was heaps of us. I'll put up some photos now, but I don't know. I'm guessing there was close to 20 of us. I don't know if everyone's in the photo. So we bought 2 slabs and we smuggled in 2 slabs of beer. We got into the cinema. We were already rowdy. There was like one person there. It mustn't have been the first screening because someone with us had already seen it. And it got about 45 minutes into the movie and I was like, I need to have a piss. And I said to whoever it was, I said, tell me when there's a quiet bit of the movie coming up. And they said, oh, this bit's pretty quiet. I said, right, I got to go have a piss. And then basically the whole 20 people that were with us said, that's a good idea. And like when we went, and it was the last screening of the night. So when we went out, there was just like people wiping up the snack bar and all that. It was like as if there was some kind of evacuation. Like 20 people, guys, came bowling out of the cinema and just all ran into the toilets. And the whole toilet went from empty to shoulder, dudes pissing. Anyway, we got back inside and watched the rest of the movie and it was good. We drank the whole 2 slabs. We were blind. We got outside and there was a chopper cutout. We were like, oh, that'd be handy. And we sort of went up to it, but the cinema had basically shut. So the staff were just down there watching us. It was a life-size cutout and we thought, oh, no, they're watching us. So we went outside and we all gathered outside where some people were going to go this way and some were going to go that way. So we were saying our farewells and whatever. Yeah, suddenly I just look across the road and I just see Chopper read the cardboard cutout sort of bouncing along the road like a South Park character.
And would that be Swipe?
Yeah, and so we're like, there's Chopper, and we all take off after him and we catch up to Chopper and yeah, Swipe, living up to his name, Swiper, had swiped the Chopper.
Is that Japes?
That's Japes.
Give me an example of nobbish behaviour.
That whole story again is also nobbish behaviour. But I mean, you know, it just depends which way you're looking at it. Sorry, but that chopper cutout is still in my garage, and I still take chopper. This is like 25 years later. I think they just had the 20th anniversary of chopper like during COVID, so it's like 23 years later. And I still take chopper sometimes on photo shoots in drains and abandoned buildings and that with me.
That's good to hear.
Dead chopper.
Dead chopper. How about some nobbish behaviour?
Um,
Look, how about I'll tell you a story. So a while ago, there's a story in Melbourne history about a teenager who stole a tram. Do you know that story? Do you reckon that's Japes?
I reckon that's hilarious. Yeah, that's definitely Japes.
Yeah, but isn't there a former CaveClan member who stole a train?
Yes, he's in jail now.
Yeah, and possibly that's Japes, but maybe he engaged in some other things that were nobbish behaviour.
Definitely. Well, this guy, like, I never really got on it very well with him, and he was sort of part of when the clan split, he was part of the crime church. He was there like locksmith, key guy. He obviously had issues, and I'd had a couple of run-ins with him, but so I wasn't totally surprised. You know, he set signal boxes on fire. He went out to Newport, where all the old blokes have been working on fixing up, you know, the old trains.
Well, that's nobbish behaviour and fucking him up.
He set him on fire. Yeah, totally nobbish behaviour. Yeah, he worked at a fire station, like for the CFA, and he set it on fire, and then he rescued their truck and was a hero, you know, for rescuing the truck from whoever lit the fire, but it turned out being him.
Me and Wes used to go to protests and try and, you know, like where they had greenies and stuff and all the cops and stuff. We'd try and start a riot, and we'd throw eggs and stuff like that, and then we'd just sit back and watch and laugh. You reckon that's Japes or nobbish behaviour?
I reckon it's Japes, but you know, but if I was sitting, you know, at work with you know, some of the staff there, I might go, that's nobbish behaviour.
During Corona, COVID or whatever, you know, there's all these people who were like, they got fed up with it, and they didn't want to wear masks and stuff, and they went out and they did riots and stuff, right? They're not wearing masks, right? Well, fuck, I'm thinking like, my thinking was completely opposite. I'm like, dude, this is the only time, like okay, back in a few years ago, you can't walk into the bank without with a mask or a motorbike helmet on. You can't do anything with a. Now you've got the opportunity to wear a mask. There's all these cameras around the city. Anyway, these guys go and fucking protest, and none of them wearing masks, and there's all these cameras everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, if you want to have a fucking riot, wear a fucking mask so no one can recognize you on camera. Rain talk. My next question is Carringbush. Where the Carringbush? Where is there a place in Melbourne called Carringbush?
I think it was the Collingwood Football Club. I think they were either going to be called Carringbush, or that maybe it was their nickname or something. Like, there's a Carringbush Hotel, which we lived next door to in Raphael Street. Yeah, there's still references to Carringbush. It's probably Lord Carringbush or something by the sound of it.
It sounds like you're quite the historian. You're interested in history, no doubt?
Yeah, you know, look, I'm nah. Like, people ask me about tunnels and what was it called when it was a creek, and what year was it built, and you know, I just have to look it all up before, if someone's going to ask me about Shelby. Hang on, I'll just be a minute.
You're quite the historian, aren't you?
No.
Lots of you got a big catalogue of photos and maps and stuff until recently.
Until recently. I think these are my dad's. I probably shouldn't be throwing them out. UVD. I don't know how old that is. 1967. It's older than me. Wow. Jeez. I don't know that much about the history You know, I know a little bit. Like I know that the drain under Elizabeth Street's 120 years old or whatever because I saw a newspaper article 20 years ago when it turned 100 years old. I know it used to be called, I can't even remember, whatever Creek, Williams Creek or something. One of the things that Urbex or Urban Exploration or Urbex is, whatever you want to fucking call them, Urban Explorers, that's it. They sort of fat up over about it and get a bit like, oh, you know, I got the police came, but I just told them I was, preserving history, taking photos, and police are just going, oh, fuck, I can't be bothered dealing with this person. Get out. So it works. Like, they're taking photos of an old building that the history's recorded somewhere anyway. That's how I feel. Like me finding out what the creek used to be called. So I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in having a beer with you in a tunnel, walking through a drain. I'm not really.
Well, actually, speaking about having a beer in a tunnel and a drain, earlier you said there was some person who said that we were talking about political correctness, and you said there was someone who wanted to get rid of drinking beer while on an expo or something.
Well,
like, what,
yeah, that was soy. And look, I mean,
what's wrong with these people? The whole fucking CaveClan was built on beer drinking, wasn't it?
it was. What's the world coming to?
Like shit. It's like those people who are moving to a suburb where there's a bar and then they complain about the noise. But
Yeah.
I'm speaking about Carringbush. So, that would have been the Cave Clan HQ, as it were, for a while. And so it was in Carringbush, and then later on to the Main Street Gentlemen's Club.
Raphael Street was only maybe 18 months.
Isn't it ironic that it was called Raphael Street and one of the
Ninja Turtles
was named Raphael, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'd say a tad of irony in that. But then we went to Main Street and we were there for overall, I think we were there for 10 years. I think you were the last one to leave, actually.
Yep.
But I reckon there must have been probably about 10 different CaveClan people living there. Phil lived there, Swipe lived there. I think Nomus lived there for a while. Gilligan lived there, you lived there, and Kanish lived there.
Mira lived there?
Mira lived there. Well, I find this story interesting. I like the small world coincidence type stories. So when we moved in, I think we are going to have a housewarming or something like that. And anyway, I was talking to a group of CaveClan people, probably at Hari's. I said, oh, we've got a house, And someone said, where is it? And I said, it's in Main Street, but it's not a main street. It's a little dead-end street. The name's a bit misleading. And Georgie, who was a member of the CaveClan at the time, he said, is it 19 Main Street? And I was like, how the fuck did he know that? And I said, yeah, it is. And he goes, oh, that's my grandmother's place. She just died like 6 months ago in the front right bedroom. That was the first thing that was a bit of a coincidence. The second thing was years later, but like in more recent times, Georgie died. At the time, one of my older brothers was living with us at Main Street. I told him, I said, oh yeah, this guy Georgie died, had an asthma attack, and ended up unconscious, face down, and died.
Just like Bon Scott.
Yeah, I think Bon Scott was because of the cold weather. But anyway, then my brother comes home a couple of days later from footy training, and he goes, "Oh, that guy that you were telling about that died."
The cut of himself.
Whose grandmother used to live here. Is his name George? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, I play football with his brother. And Georgie was lived 10 suburbs, or it wasn't like we're all in the same suburbs. But because of that, I managed to get all these hundreds of photos I had of Georgie to Georgie's brother, to pass on to his family. So that was a good thing came out of that. Train talk.
So you and me, we're getting a bit long in the tooth. So our days are numbered. So here's a question for you: where do you reckon the clan will be in, I don't know, 50 years, 40 years?
I already find it not really recognisable, but there might be periods like the Clannies. So for that 3 hours on the night of the Clannies, it resembles what But to them, I think that's like an exception for the CaveClan these days. We're letting our hair down. We're having a big party. Whereas, I don't know if you remember, but we used to just do Yahoo stuff every week. You
Yeah,
know,
it was called Japes
yeah, Japes. And
and possibly nobbish behaviour at the same time.
yes, yes. As we said before, eye of the beholder. Whereas I think it's a lot more. They're a lot more sensible nowadays. This might not be 100% accurate, but
You're talking about the girl who said no beer.
soy, yeah.
Oh God, it's like, yeah, okay, come on, bring
Um,
it on.
so when she was in charge for 4 years. She
Was
basically
in
ran the
charge.
whole thing.
How did that ever happen?
Oh, this is after we all went, so I don't know. But
Jeez.
maybe no one else wanted
Oh.
to do it. I don't know. But she in that 4 years she won the gold Clanny 3 times. So it sort of says a lot about how the clan is. And the time that she didn't win it, she cracked the shits and kind of quit.
She didn't win.
So I mean, fancy taking the Clannie Awards so seriously, like, you know.
Yeah, Christ.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking about the Clannies, have you won a gold Clanny?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I won. How
many?
Four, I think. But
Have I won a Clanny?
you've won Clannies, yeah. I don't think you won a gold.
What did I win?
Oh, I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look it up.
And how long have I fucking known you anyway?
I reckon 1990. So what's that? 33 years, 34 years.
It must have been before 1990, wouldn't it be? Because I got tags in drains in the 80s. I got photos of.
Yeah, but you were going in drains before we met. You didn't go in the drains because of me.
I thought you were the historian, man. Like it must have been before 1990.
Sorry, it was the summer of 88, 89, 90. Because, like I said, you guys didn't come to the first Clannies. You came to the second Clannies. You painted the backdrop for the second Clannies. That's when you did the chrome version.
And what's the story? How the fuck did we meet anyway?
How do we meet? You reached out. You wrote some messages on the maze. You said, "Oh, you know, want to catch up or something like that." I think you'd seen our other messages saying, you know, leave a message if you want to catch up. I think we gave you the details to get out to Northcote Golf Course. We set a date, but you couldn't make it. And you went up. Then you went up like a week later and said, "Sorry, I got held up. I couldn't come. I'll be here next weekend." We saw that in time, and then we hooked up. But it was funny when we were coming to meet you because at the time, like there was, I mean, you'd probably know a rough figure, even with your memory being as fucked as it is. But I reckon between Flinders Street and I don't even know where, fucking North Richmond, East Richmond or whatever, like Burnley out that way, I reckon there would have been like 50 Hugh Dunit pieces. They were just everywhere at the time. So you weren't what we were expecting, you know, because for people that don't know, and I can edit this out, but for people that don't know, Hugh, I consider you a bit of a loner when it comes to graffiti.
Lone wolf, brother.
POA, proof of age. Like we thought you'd be really short, sort of more of a homeboy, wearing big Nikes and having like a worn out finger from spray painting all the time.
Why do you gotta be short, like a hobbit or something?
Yeah, like a hobbit. We thought you'd be like, yo, what's up, motherfuckers? You know, and you're just this like pretty, like fairly normal, as far as, you know, oh, yeah, we'll go have a beer at the pub, you know, like, and you weren't homeboy at all. Like you've never. That's one thing that sort of surprised me back then. You're not homeboy at all.
So through the CaveClan, you've met quite a few graffiti artists, and the graffiti artists that you've met, who are probably quite well known, do you find that any of them are homeboyish?
You know, you're right. But if someone's homeboyish, like with the guys that I ended up drinking with and going out with and that, you know, yeah, they weren't homeboyish. But the homeboy ones, the ones that would dress like a homeboy, I was never interested in hanging with homeboys or whatever. A bit like
what I'm saying is that, like, you know, like I don't know why, but some of Melbourne's top graffiti artists have a relationship to the CaveClan, and do you think that any of them are homeboyish?
That's what I was saying. if they were homeboys,
Related to the CaveClan, there are names such as Saipan and Note and Bobby Sticks and all these people.
Yeah,
Do
there's
they
heaps.
come across as homeboyish to you?
They don't, but that's what I'm trying to say. If they were, you wouldn't be mentioning them now because they wouldn't be part of, or they wouldn't be part of my friend circle. So the reason all the ones that we know is that you're probably the same. You probably wouldn't want to associate with some guy trying to be a homeboy. Not like I know I sound like I'm dissing homeboys. I'm just not that type of person. I'm not, like I find it hard when people talk to me and lots of people do it and they say, "Hey, bruz, thanks, brother." I've never said the word brother to anyone except probably my real brothers. For real? I mean, that used to be around years ago, but it's really popular again. I looked up today. What's FR mean? Someone responded to a comment and it's like, for real, for real. I reckon we should do a podcast about two old guys, like talking about shit like this. Sometimes they say, sup, like, what's up?
Well, that was my next question.
What's up?
When? No. My next question was, when are you going to do your podcast?
I was never going to do it before 2025. I want to get other things out of the way. But yeah, I'm still planning on doing one. But like I said, it's not going to be put it this way, it won't be a popular podcast. It'll be. I'm mainly making it for us to tell our stories. A lot of people agreed to do it. Whether they do it, it's another thing, and whether they're straight up, it's going to be hard. There's a lot of things you can't really talk about. Not so much because it's illegal, because it was so long ago, but more to do with family and shit like that. You don't want your family hearing, about how shat in an apron, in a pub one night.
Tell me.
Hey?
Tell me that story.
He denies it. Apparently in Adelaide, someone told me, some old city guy told me that had to have a shit, went in the stairwell and there was an apron hanging there, so he shat in the apron. Apparently he shat on a dance floor once. See, that's snobbish behaviour. I don't even know how you would shit on a dance floor.
Were there people dancing?
If you ever talk to him again, ask him. Alcohol used to like bring us all together, but it also that's it. I think I figured out the answer.
Okay, what's the answer?
When you're not drinking alcohol, it's Japes.
Yeah.
When you're drinking heaps of alcohol, the funny shit you do is nobbish behaviour.
You might have hit on an answer there. Yeah, you got the bones of the podcast right there.
Well, that's the thing. This is kind of shit that we would, I would work out every podcast episode. Like I would have a list of, not that I'd want it to follow the list, but just so as soon as we run out of stuff to do, we could go, well, what about that time when we went to Adelaide? I find every time I talk with someone, I hear different versions of stories. So that's another thing that'll be interesting.
So yeah, thanks for joining Drain Talk. And we're gonna wrap it up now. So Drain Talk.
Drain Talk.
I'm just so starstruck by that.